Okay, so in this demonstration, we are going to now create an availability set that we can place two virtual machines in. Let's head over to the Azure portal to begin. In the Azure portal, the first thing we need to do is head over to availability sets. You can use the search button at the top, type in availability, and you'll see the services appear for availability sets. I've already selected that here. So if we go ahead, let's create our first availability set. Click Create Availability Sets at the bottom, or click the Add button in the top left. In there, you'll need to type in a name for your availability set. So in my case, I'm just going to use SLVM Demo AS. We choose our subscription, and we use our existing resource group or create a new one if you feel the need. In addition, we choose our location, and then you can see here, we talked about it in the PowerPoint presentation. We've got a number of fault domains and update domains I can use. So I can go up to 3 fault domains. In my case, I'm going to choose 2 right now, and I can choose up to 20 update domains. And again, this is how our VMs will be spread out inside the availability set. Next, we have this option around manage disks. If we use manage disks and say yes aligned, Microsoft is going to make sure that our disks underneath the virtual machine are also appropriately put into availability sets. So there's nothing we need to manage manually there, as opposed to when we do it in kind of the classic methods. So with that said, just go ahead and click Create, and your availability set within a minute or so will be ready for you. And now it's ready. We go to our resource. We can see our availability set here. We can see our fault domains, update domains, and currently we have 0 virtual machines in there. So let's go ahead and add a couple of virtual machines. And to do that, it's really the same as creating a new virtual machine as we did in one of the earlier modules. So we'll just go ahead and click New and get into the virtual machine creation here. Give it a name, etc. So in my case, I'm calling this SL Test AS for availability set 01. Give it a username, password, etc. Choose your subscription and resource group. Select your size. And then you can see here, when you get to the high availability section of creating the virtual machine, simply expand this out, and you can choose your availability set. We can actually create a new one directly from here in virtual machine creation, but go ahead and select your availability set there, and now it knows that this virtual machine, when it's created, needs to be part of this availability set. I'm going to fast forward here and continue creating the 2 virtual machines and come back when they're completed. Alright, so we can see both of our virtual machines, SL Test AS01 and 02, have been created successfully and are both running. I'm going to flip over to our availability set now, just by using the search button at the top. Go to Availability Sets, and we can see SLVM Demo AS that we created earlier. We'll go into that one. And now on the right hand side, what we can see are our 2 virtual machines listed there. They're both managed. And we can also see that we have our 2 fault domains. So SL Test AS01 is in fault domain 0 and update domain 0 as well. And SL Test AS02 is in fault domain 1 and update domain 1. Now that's great. So these VMs from an availability standpoint are on separate hardware in Azure's data center. One of the other things that's good to know is how you would associate a load balancer with this availability set. This is one of the other things you're expected to know on the exam. Now I'm not going to cover load balancers in detail now. That's going to be covered in the networking section, but let's go over to a load balancer I've created previously. So I'm going to select load balancers from my menu on the left here. You can see I have a load balancer already there, SLAS LB01. I'm going to select that one. And in here you can see we have a section for backend pools. If we click that and go in here, nothing there right now, but I'll go ahead and click Add. Give it a name. So in this case, I'm just using SL-pool, and now I can associate it to an availability set. So I select that, I select my availability set. We can see SLVM Demo AS with 2 virtual machines in it. And now I add a target network IP configuration. So So I choose that, and now I choose my first target machine. So AS01. Choose its network IP. And then do the same again. Now for AS02, its IP, and hit OK. And what's great then is now this backend pool is associated directly with that availability set. So, my traffic's going to come in, get spread out between those two VMs, and those VMs are on separate hosts. So in the event there's a failure, one of the machines will always be up and running, and my application will be serviced. And you can see here after a little while that's created, expand it out. You can see our virtual machines and our private IP addresses associated with them, as this is a backend pool. And with that, this concludes our demonstration.